Shut up and work. That's all you're paid for." The man's voice thundered across the glittering dining hall as he slammed his fist on the table. The chandeliers trembled, the music stopped, and every wealthy guest froze in disbelief. The young maid, carrying a tray of silverware, stood trembling, eyes wide as humiliation burned across her cheeks. She wasn't even allowed to defend herself. Laughter broke out from the man's friends. "Did you hear him? He really told her off." They snickered, raising their glasses of wine. The maid turned away quickly, blinking back tears, trying to hide her shaking hands as she set the table. She had endured insults before, but this was in front of dozens of strangers, and the sting of shame was unbearable. The man leaned back in his chair, smug, as if putting her down made him more powerful. "People like her should be grateful they even get to step inside a place like this," he boasted loudly, ensuring everyone heard. Guests shifted uncomfortably, but no one dared to speak up against him. After all, he was the host, a millionaire with influence, money, and arrogance dripping from his every word. The maid forced herself to keep working. Her hands were pale, her back ached, but she whispered silently, "Just 5 more hours, just 5 more hours." She needed this job. She couldn't risk losing it, not when her younger brother at home relied on her to pay for his medicine. No one here knew her story. To them, she was just a servant. Invisible, replaceable. But fate has a way of flipping the script when arrogance crosses the line. Just minutes later, the man snapped again. "Maid! Bring the pasta," he barked, waving his hand as if summoning a dog. She hurried over with the steaming bowl, but her foot caught on the corner of the rug. She gasped, everything tilted. The boiling pasta slipped, spilling right across his $1,000 suit. The hall erupted, gasps, shrieks, forks clattering to the table. The man leapt up in fury, his face red as the tomato sauce dripping from his jacket. And then he did the unthinkable. With all his rage, he snatched the remaining noodles and dumped them over the maid's head. The crowd was stunned into silence. She stood there, frozen, steam rising from her hair, spaghetti sliding down her shoulders, her eyes closed. Humiliation burned deeper than ever before. But then something shifted. She slowly raised her head, and for the first time that night, she spoke. "You think this makes you powerful?" Her voice was calm, steady, cutting through the silence like a blade. Every guest turned toward her, shocked. The maid's quiet dignity filled the room, and for a brief moment, the arrogant millionaire lost his grip on control. And then, from the corner of the room, a voice spoke up. A frail, older man, one of the most respected business tycoons present, rose to his feet. "That's enough," he said sharply. "Do you even know who she is?" Confusion swept the table. The rich man blinked, caught off guard. The older gentleman continued, "This young woman, she's the daughter of a man I once owed my life to. Her father saved me years ago when I had nothing. Without him, I wouldn't even be here today. And you," his voice cracked like thunder, "you dare humiliate her like this?" The crowd erupted into murmurs. The maid's eyes widened. She hadn't expected anyone to know her family's past. Her father, a humble mechanic, had indeed saved many lives in their town, but he had passed away before she ever had the chance to repay his kindness. She'd taken this job only to survive. The arrogant host's smirk collapsed. His guests stared at him with disgust. In a matter of seconds, the mighty millionaire had become the villain of the night. He stammered, searching for words, but the older man pointed a firm finger at him. "Apologize. On your knees." Now the silence was deafening. Slowly, unwillingly, the rich man's pride cracked. With dozens of eyes burning into him, he sank to his knees before the maid. His voice shook. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." The maid, still dripping with pasta, looked down at him. She could have spat venom. She could have humiliated him in return. But instead she whispered, "I don't need your apology. Just remember, your wealth means nothing if you have no respect for others." The crowd erupted into applause. Guests stood, clapping for her courage, not his riches. For the first time in his life, the man realized money couldn't buy back dignity, nor erase shame. That night, the maid left with her head held high. She still had bills to pay, struggles to face, but she walked with the strength of someone who had reclaimed her voice. And the millionaire. He was left drowning in humiliation, his empire of pride crumbling in the eyes of those who once admired him. True respect cannot be demanded with wealth or power. It must be earned through humility and kindness. Before we end this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comment.